The Echo Ridge Children's Sanatorium, tucked away deep in the mountains of West Virginia, was shut down back in the 1970s and left to rot in the woods. It was a freezing late October evening, just a few days before Halloween. My friend Mark and I, both amateur photographers with a weak spot for moody, atmospheric shots, had found out about the place through a sketchy urban exploration forum. By the time we pulled up, the sun was dipping below the horizon and a thick, charcoal fog was rolling in. Every single door to the main building was chained shut and the windows were heavily boarded up. But after circling the perimeter, we found a rotting basement door with a snapped, rusted padlock. We flicked on our phone flashlights, hunched over and squeezed inside. The air in there was ice cold and heavy, like we were inhaling pure dust and mold instead of oxygen. Shards of broken glass, decaying medical logs, and chunks of collapsed drywall crunched beneath our boots. Mark adjusted his heavy professional camera and started snapping photos of the shadowed rooms and overturned iron bed frames, hunting for the perfect shot. But the second I stepped inside, a heavy dread sank into my chest. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and a cold sweat broke out across my skin. It felt like someone or something was watching us intently from the shadows. "Mark, let's make it quick. The vibes in this place are completely off," I whispered, my voice sounding tight, even to me. "Relax, man, it's just an old building. Look at this shot." Mark pointed to the wall where a faded, deeply unsettling drawing done by a child decades ago was peeling off the concrete. We kept moving up to the second floor, walking down a long, pitch-black hallway. I stopped halfway to set up my tripod, wanting to get a long exposure shot that captured the sheer emptiness of the corridor. Mark, driven by pure curiosity, kept walking toward the very end of the hall, slipping into a room with a half-open door. I was adjusting my camera settings when, out of nowhere, the sound of heavy, panicked breathing and echoing footsteps cut through the silence. Mark was practically sprinting back. His face was dead pale in the flashlight beam, his eyes wide with sheer terror. "Grab your gear. We're leaving." "Now," he said, his voice shaking but dead serious. He grabbed my shoulder and yanked me backward. "What happened? What did you see?" I asked, panicking as he dragged me toward the stairs without looking back. But at that exact moment, my own curiosity overrode my fear. I hesitated for a split second, turned around, and aimed my flashlight straight down the long, dark hallway toward the room Mark had just fled. The door creaked on its rusted hinges, swinging open just a bit wider. Right in the center of the room sat a vintage, rusted wheelchair, and sitting on the canvas seat was a tattered, dust-covered porcelain doll. I squinted, trying to get a better look. In that exact fraction of a second, the wheelchair rolled forward on its own, a full 3 feet into the hallway, as if someone had violently shoved it from behind. The sharp screech of metal grinding against concrete echoed through the entire building. "Oh, hell no!" I screamed at the top of my lungs. I turned and bolted down the stairs. I honestly don't remember how we burst through the basement door or how we tore through the thorny briars outside. We scrambled into the car, slammed the locks down, and I floored the gas. It wasn't until we hit the safety of the lit highway miles away that I finally pulled over. Our hands were shaking uncontrollably, hearts hammering against our ribs. "Did you see that doll in the wheelchair?" I gasped, looking over at Mark. "The damn thing moved on its own." Mark stared back at me, his eyes hollow with a terror that made my blood run cold. "I didn't see the wheelchair move," he whispered, his voice cracking. "When I approached the room, the doll was just sitting there. I stepped closer to take a picture, and the doll suddenly snapped its head straight toward me, opened its eyes and whispered something. That's why I ran. By the time you look back, it was already coming after us." Later that night, when we uploaded the photos to the computer, we checked the very last frame Mark had snapped. In the middle of that pitch-black room where the doll was supposed to be sitting, there was nothing but two piercing, pinprick white eyes glowing in the dark.